Thank you. And Father Michael Joseph Parrish joins us. He's the co-host, Ascension Press Catholic Classics podcast, The Story of the Soul. And Father, before we talk about your upcoming podcast, where you'll be going through Saint Thérèse, the story of soul, can you share a bit of your background of how Saint Thérèse influenced your decision to join the friars?
Definitely. Thank you. It's good to be with you guys. And it goes back when I had a conversion. I was about 18 years old, and I'd been living in a kind of crazy past and a lot of bad decisions. And God, in His mercy, saved me. And one of my first kind of like real Christian Catholic friends gave me the copy of The Story of a Soul by Saint Thérèse. And I thought I was really cool and like, how can I relate to this 19th century French teenager, but as I started reading it, it just spoke right to my heart. Like I knew that this girl, that God had put her here for me. And she taught me that a true relationship with Jesus is possible, and that through confidence, we can become a saint, and it even opened me up to say maybe God could be calling me to be a priest. And if He is, I have what it takes, with His grace. So like, yeah, she just inspired me so much on that early path. And then I was ordained a priest for the Archdiocese of Washington. And then Thérèse, had always been with me through that time. But she started coming back even more strongly in this discernment to become a Carmelite. And again, through her witness as a Carmelite and what Carmel meant for her to really just give herself, and by giving herself to really save souls, that helped me understand, how God was calling me to be a Carmelite. So kind of, it's a different path, but she's been with me throughout the whole way.
Father Parrish, you and I share that devotion to Thérèse, reliance on her for inspiration, and also her very powerful prayers, and oftentimes a rose as a sign of her love. But can you tell us what are some of the practical ways, from your experience, your devotion to her, ways that you can live that little way with confidence and choose to love even in the really mundane moments of the day? How do you do that?
Yes, definitely. Well, I think, for one, it engages everything in us. It's the little way, but it's not necessarily easy, right? It's simple, it's doable, but it takes a lot. And I think one of the big things is a refusal to get discouraged. Like when things happen in your day and you feel like, I didn't do that right, or like something went wrong in your day. And instead of giving into self-pity, be like, no, God, even more I believe in your love for me. Even more I believe in your awesome plan for me. So I think that's one thing, is just trying to combat any sense of discouragement with those kind of acts of confidence and faith. Is one way that's helped me a lot. And then too, just like living in community. I mean, whatever we're in, we have some community around us, right? And there's always people who, for whatever reason, rub us the wrong way at different moments, and and I think part of Thérèse's way is to try our best to love those people who we're not feeling great about. She has a great line where she says, in Carmel, we don't have enemies, but there are feelings. There are feelings. And when we're feeling that aversion towards a person, it's an invitation to try to keep smiling at them, to keep being patient with them, and I think that's helped me a lot in my life.
Yeah, I do that with Jay every morning.
I picked that up.
Just keep smiling,
So how does Saint? I'm just going to ignore that one. So how does Saint Thérèse show us that what we may think are our greatest failures, in fact, can become our greatest path to holiness?
No, that's an awesome question, and I think when you look at her experience of failure, I would say came even when she was a teenager, in her inability to control her sensitivity. Like things would happen to her and she would just start crying, and she didn't want to cry, but she couldn't help it. And part of her conversion was being able to overcome that. And so her failure and her inability to kind of control her hypersensitivity became the way for her to totally trust that only God can do this. It was like, I can't do it. I don't have it in my hands. And I think that's what opened her up to her Christmas conversion, that really changed her and transformed her. So in that sense, like, her failure opened her up to God's grace.
Your Catholic Classic podcast now is specifically about this work, The Story of a Soul. How does the podcast work? How long are the episodes? Where can people find it?
Yes, for sure. It's so if you go to ascensionpress.com/Catholic Classics. You get the whole overview, and you can download the reading plan. And it's a really neat thing because they have this beautiful new edition of the book with new forward by Carmelite Cardinal Anders from Sweden, and nice commentary between each chapters, a ribbon to keep your spot, a very nice edition of it. And then the podcast, you can basically follow along with the reading of the book it's a young French woman who's doing the reading. So it's kind of neat. It gives Thérèse a certain voice, right? And then, so that's about half the podcast. And the other half is a commentary on what we've just heard, basically from a Dominican priest, Father Jacob Bertrand Jancic, and myself. And we try to unpack, what we just heard. We try to apply it to daily life, show how it's relevant, maybe give some context, to help it be more understandable. So that's the hope. The podcast and the book kind of go hand in hand, and hopefully will help people really go deeper into the spirituality of St. Therese.
I got to tell you, you have a voice for podcasting. I'm just saying.
I don't always see that. I appreciate that, Bishop. I trust your judgment.
Well, St. Therese is beloved, so I'm sure it's going to be a big hit. Father, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, guys. Keep
All
up
right,
the awesome.
Great day.
God bless you.